guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Silvana, and today's video is going to be on things I wish I knew before going into college. So I know a lot of you guys are probably going to be starting college soon, and I just finished my first year, so I thought of a few helpful tips that will actually make all the difference. So let's just go ahead and get started. So the first tip I want to talk about is it's okay to not know what you're doing. I remember being so stressed because I knew what I was doing, like, career-wise, and, like, I was set on my major and stuff. But if you really think about it, everyone around you is kind of on the same boat as you are. Or people around you have been where you are, if they're older. There's so many times when people take classes in college that they weren't really planning to take, or they just weren't even expecting to really like. It's like one of their GEs, and they end up absolutely loving it and changing to that major, or maybe getting a minor, or just kind of changing it up. And it's okay to not know what you're doing. It's absolutely okay. There's nothing wrong with figuring it out as you go. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You're gonna be growing as a person just alone. If you think about it, this is getting a little deep, but I mean, if you're like moving out, if you're moving to a different state, or if you're moving to a different city, you're like living on your own. You're gonna be growing a lot as a person. You're gonna be finding new interests, new hobbies, new people you like to associate around, and obviously you're going to be changing, so what you may go in thinking is going to be your major, it might not be. For me it still is, but who knows if it changes, honestly. This next one kind of goes into the planning your time of work and fun. You have to really be time efficient, because it's so easy to get caught up in having a little bit too much fun, or even in the other side of the spectrum, it's really easy to get caught up in doing way too much work and not actually making any time to have fun. And I think it's all about just finding the perfect balance in between. Obviously, like, knowing when it is that you have to study, and you study and you do your homework, you do your assignments, and then figuring out when it is that you should go out and you should have fun. I think this is a pretty hard thing to kind of get down. It might not sound too hard, but once you're kind of in the moment, it's pretty hard to manage your time, so you honestly just have to be very organized, or that's what I did, and it worked out perfectly fine. This next tip, I cannot stress enough, and people did tell me this, so I already knew it, thank gosh, but it is to not buy all of your books. Like, rent them. Look into renting options. There's websites like Chegg, and I'm not even sponsored, so I'm not going to mention any. But there's different websites that you can rent books from, and you don't have to buy from the school bookstore. I don't know if this is for every school, but even at our bookstore you can rent, and that's a lot cheaper. There's actually no point in buying a book, because you're never gonna open it again after that semester's over. And like, if you think about it, you have to buy a book or buy like, what, 5 books for one semester, and then the semester's over, you have to buy more books. Like, you're always gonna be getting new books. So you don't really have to buy them, just rent them and like return them. And if anything, that's better, because you don't have to carry them around. Don't be that freshman that the night before classes even start, you're already buying your books. That's what I did, and honestly, I bought so many books I didn't even need. And that's so stupid. So just make sure you need the books. The professors, if you really do like strongly need it, like for the first day of class, they will send out emails before and let you know that you need to buy the book. But for the most part, they're like a little more lenient, and like that first week or two, you know, people are still getting like situated, and they'll be a lot more understanding, so you're fine. A thing I want to talk about with renting books is a lot of times people rent ebooks. Personally, I don't know if this is just a personal thing or if other people can agree with me, but I hate ebooks. Online books suck. Like, I hate them. I feel like whenever I get an online book, I'm never gonna read it. Like, I just know myself, I'm never gonna read it. Like, it's not really my thing. Personally, if you like it, go for it, but personally I would avoid ebooks, just because I feel like I don't read them, or I'm not as inclined to read them. This might be a no-brainer, but I didn't know this, so let me just go ahead and tell you. Avoid 8 a.m. classes and Friday classes at all costs. I did not, thankfully, have any 8 a.m.s, but I did have Friday classes all of my semester so far. And I feel like if I really wanted to, I can completely avoid them, but I just keep on getting them. I don't know why. And I hate Friday classes, because if I ever go home on a weekend, then I have to leave after the Friday class. Or like, even there's a lot of events that go on Thursday nights, because, you know, most college kids don't get Friday classes. So there's a crap ton of events that go on Thursday night, and then you can't really go, or if you do go, you can't stay out late because you have to be up early for your next class. And I would just not recommend getting a Friday class. If you can get your classes Monday through Thursday or like whatever works for your schedule, but avoid Friday and 8 a.m.s because they're just not it. This next tip is something that I didn't do at all, and I'm gonna be trying to do this next semester because I'm trying to have fun too. Like, yes, I understand you're trying to take some rigorous courses. I was like taking like calculus and like chemistry and all these other classes, but like take at least one fun class. I mean, it would still be going towards your general education and all that stuff, but honestly, you'd be surprised at how many courses are available at your school. So I'm gonna be taking at least one fun class that I'm not stressed about, that I think it's gonna be not necessarily an easy A, but it's gonna be something that I'm actually interested in learning. Remember to take a few like okay classes that you're not gonna be dying in. This next tip is something that I really didn't do that much first semester, but then second semester I think we try to like take a 180 spin, and this is go out and explore your town more. Like, I go to school in LA, but at least the first semester, I really didn't go out like to town much. I mean, I think it's very important to, you're living out there, might as well go explore the city, find new places you like to go to. I think it helps a lot because you do live there after all. So just go out and have fun. I think it's really easy to get kind of tied up to your whole routine of like staying on campus, especially if you're dorming on campus, and it's even harder if you don't have a car. But it's really easy to get kind of stuck to your routine of not doing anything out of the routine. But remember to go out every now and then, like on a weekend, on a day off, something. Just go and have fun. This next tip, I don't think anyone ever talks about it, but I think it definitely should be talked about, and it is Rate My Professor. A lot of people take Rate My Professor way too seriously, and I think you need to take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes the reviews...
I'm not sure I understand.
I'm not talking to you. Sometimes the reviews are like really harsh. And if you think about it, who's really writing the reviews? It's probably either a student who failed the class or a student who really liked the class. So I feel like it's very hard to find the happy medium there. I've had professors who absolutely are amazing, but their Rate My Professors are really bad for some reason. I don't know, it could be like lazy kids that didn't do their work and then they put a review or something, you know. But on the other side of the spectrum, I've had professors who are absolutely the crappiest professors I have ever had, and they have like a overall like good rating. And I'm like, what the so definitely take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I can't avoid it, so like every single time I get a name of a new professor, I have to go in and like check it out just to, you know, kind of know what to expect, because sometimes I don't even know if they're like a male or female. So I like to, you know, just be a little bit more prepared. But I don't take the reviews that deeply because sometimes they're not even legit. This next tip kind of, I think, would help, but like if you want to. Like, I understand people like to have their summers off and not do anything or like work or something. But if you're able to take community college classes, I would completely recommend it, just because they're so much cheaper. And if you like put your community college in your like financial aid, if you get any, I think it will cover it. So definitely try to, at least maybe like one or two, because it will help you graduate sooner if that's what you're wanting to do. And it will just cost you a lot less money over time. This next tip, we knew it was coming, and it is to be smart at parties. And I like seriously mean this. I sound like such an old person even though I'm only like 19, like being like, be smart at parties. My mom, whenever I would go out, she'd be like, make sure you don't put your drink down, make sure you like stay with your friends, make like all this stuff. And I completely agree. Like, I have had my few college party horror stories. I could probably do a whole video on that. But be smart. Do not wander off. Do not go with like random people. Like, it's fine to meet people, don't get me wrong, but like also just use your like judgment to like know. There are a lot of sketchy people, unfortunately. So make sure you don't lose your friends. Make sure you're not getting too freaking hammered. Make sure you're being smart. You're not driving drunk. You Uber. Uber's not that expensive. You're fine. Especially if you share it with your friends, you're good. But don't be stupid. That's all I have to say. Just be smart at parties. This next tip I always did just because I've been doing it since high school, but I think this is such a helpful tip for anyone, and it is to sit in the front of the class. I know sometimes I tell people I sit in the very front and they're like, I can't do that. I sit in the back. But I think it completely makes a difference. I think it completely does, because if anything, professors are gonna remember you. If you ever email them a question, they're gonna like put like the name to the face, or they're gonna know who it is without any hesitation. Or even, I'm only a sophomore, but I've already had to ask for a few like letters of rag to like for like different things. And if you ask a professor who you sit in the back, chances are they're not gonna remember you, or they're not gonna know of you very much. So I think it definitely does help. Just like, I think this is kind of just like a kissing ass kind of thing. And honestly, I could be wrong. I highly doubt I am, but I think it really does help with grading. They're gonna be like, oh, well, this person like always answers questions, or this person is like very present in class. They're gonna take that into consideration. So definitely try to sit in the front of the class, at least for a few of your classes, maybe the harder classes, and thank me later. This next tip I didn't learn until my second semester, and I think it's so important. And this is just the importance of saying no to going out sometimes and staying in. Like, there's nothing wrong with missing a party. There's nothing wrong with missing an event. There's nothing wrong with that. I think college kids get so tied up being around people or other people constantly, and chances are you don't have your own room. So I think it's very important to just be like, I want alone time. Like, sometimes just have alone time for yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, you are there to learn. You are there to get your studies. If you're really stressed about a class or something, it's okay to stay in, try to figure it out, maybe do some homework, you know, like whatever it is you gotta do that. And then you can always go out and party another day on the weekend. You can do, it's fine. Like, staying in a few nights will not hurt. And I did this the second semester, and it's not because, oh, I'm so boring or anything, but like, sometimes you just need a break, honestly. Like, that's all it is. There was like this one time I had class the next day because I'm a dumb because I'm stupid, and I have Friday classes, and I was like, I mean, I could go out, my class isn't until 9:30, kill me, but all my friends like went out or something, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine, it's cool, it's like whatever, I don't really want to go out anyway. And the next day, everyone was so like hungover, their heads were hurting, they were in a bad mood because, you know, they stayed up all night partying or whatever the hell they did. And I was just like, who wants to go grab lunch? Like, who wants to go grab a coffee? And they were just hating me. But, you know, it's important to just say no to going out. Wow, I'm making this one really long. I'm just gonna shut up. Next tip and last tip is, you're gonna struggle, and that's okay. Like, there's nothing you can do to avoid struggling at all. Like, I mean, you can, obviously, but like, there's some times where it's gonna be completely inevitable. Wow, I love being dyslexic. You're gonna struggle, like, without a doubt. That being homesick, academically, wow, like, my brain is just foggy as fudge. You know, whatever it is, you're gonna struggle, and that's okay. I think people sometimes portray college in such a positive light that's like just 100% like partying and having fun and life is so easy breezy, beautiful, cover girl, but that's not always the case. At the end of the day, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be harder classes, there's going to be a lot of crappy people, there's going to be a ton of different scenarios that are going to affect you, but you will just have to remember that it's part of it. There's no way to avoid it. Everyone is going through it at like different degrees, but they're going through it, and it's okay. It's completely okay to struggle. You're fine. So I don't even know how many tips I listed, but I think those were all I can come up with. Those were the things I found most beneficial to knowing, most important. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and comment. If you enjoyed this video at all, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.